Hello there people, my name is Amanamaz and I just finished watching episode 1 of the new show, House of the Dragon. If you didn't know, this is the Game of Thrones prequel set around 170 years before the main show. This will just be my initial thoughts and predictions, not so much a full-on review as it's only one episode. I might start an air quote series where I talk about the first episode and predictions of shows and do a full-on review at the end. So let me know if that's a good idea. Anyways, back to the show. Considering how Game of Thrones ended, I really couldn't be bothered to go back to this world and had no excitement when the trailers or promos came out. And guess what? This first episode dragged me back in. It was a really good first episode. It had the same feel as the earlier episodes of Game of Thrones while having the effects of the later ones. Like the politics and the world building are still there, while also having a lot of dragons that look really good. I do also like how the show is going more into the Targaryen house, as they aren't really there in the original show, apart from Daenerys of course. And I don't think they'll follow the structure of the previous show either, of having multiple separate storylines that converge at the end. It will be just one main story with one main house. But I do like how contained it is. I don't even think they'll explore much of Westeros either. I mean, this episode entirely took place in King's Landing. So there might be the odd episode, but I don't expect we'll be going to the north anytime soon. This show also has the other things that make Game of Thrones great. The gore, the incest, and the boobs obviously. I'm not saying they're the best parts, but they're certainly back. The confusing names also make a return, and I've forgotten most of them already, or don't know how to pronounce them. But it's only the first episode, so I'll let it go until the end of the season. Despite that though, the characters and the acting were really good, especially Matt Smith. He's a great Daemon Targaryen and really carried the show for me. He was just so brutal yet cunning and intelligent, and I can't wait to see how his relationship with his brother plays out. Speaking of his brother, Viserys Targaryen was the emotional anchor of this episode. He looks like a nice guy and an alright king, but seeing him break when his wife and son dies is not heartbreaking, but definitely emotional. And I'd say the best parts of this episode involve him and his brother. But I do imagine it won't be for long though, as I get Ned Stark vibes from him. And partly because, quick spoiler alert, he has to die to kickstart the civil war this show is based on. Okay, spoiler alert is over now. There were times where the Game of Thrones theme played in the background, and I felt nostalgic to a happier time with Game of Thrones. There's a moment in the show where it's like a foreshadowing dump, talking about White Walkers and them coming down from the north. But I do think this is just an Easter egg and won't go into too much detail going forward. Now, I will be going into light spoilers of the book and the events this show leads to, so you have been warned. So according to Wikipedia, this show leads up to and should be going over the Dance of the Dragons, which is the Targaryen Civil War, which contributes to the dragons dying off and House Targaryen going down the gutter. But one of the leaders on one side of the Civil War isn't born yet. So there either has to be a massive time jump for the next episode, or at the end of the season to get closer to that time period, or the full-on Civil War will be towards the end of the show, and I don't know how long that will be, because that's the main part and I don't want it to lumber its way there. But I assume there will be a plan for it as the books are finished, unlike the main story. So I do not know how they'll pace this one out, because I imagine this won't be one season and HBO would want to milk this dry. But will it be 7 or 8 seasons again? I don't really know. But more importantly, I hope they do not rush the ending like last time. I do think we'll find out more next episode though, and get a bigger picture for the series as a whole in the season finale, which I'm already excited for just so I can talk about it with my mates. It just goes to show how good this episode was. So I recommend you give this show a try despite how Game of Thrones ended. Who knows, this show may go down the toilet by the time I do the season review, so I shall see you then for sure. If you like my initial thoughts, please leave a like and subscribe, that would greatly be appreciated. And I shall see you next time, and peace.